Next, the Stephen A. Smith Show starts right now.
You cut that music right there, buddy. Howdy, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday afternoon and morning, depending on your location, right here over the national airwaves of ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Number to call up, as always, is 800-SAY-ESPN. I'm sorry, 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. The Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio, 250 plus marks across the United States of America. Check your AM, FM listings nearest you. Plus the ESPN Radio, Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio, Sirius XM Channel 80. Plus the Stephen A. Smith Show over the live national television airwaves of ESPN News. The Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. Now, you might be wondering why I'm on the national airwaves with this cowboy hat on. Well, it just so happens that I was watching them Cowboys last night. Watching them against those New Orleans Saints. Watching those Cowboy fans all over the world bloviating about how those Cowboys going to remain undefeated. I guess that done fell apart, didn't it? I guess it done fell apart. Suddenly the Dallas Cowboys couldn't run with the football, couldn't throw the football, couldn't score with the football, couldn't do anything offensively. Now that defense is something special. That defense is something special. But that offense, no can do. Ezekiel Elliott, 18 carries for 35 yards, less than 2 yards per carry. Dak Prescott, 22 of 33, just 223 yards. Interception, sacked one time. Couldn't get much going. And they lost to Teddy Bridgewater and New Orleans Saints. Just imagine if my man Drew Brees was out there. And as a result, the Dallas Cowboys lost the game, and that's why I was wearing this hat. Want to do that little dedication to all those Cowboy fans out there with my regular cowboy accent all over the place. Okay? I'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. My man JC and Jonathan Winthrop laughing at me. Laughing at my southern drawl and all of that other stuff. I love them Cowboy fans everywhere. Even Cowboy fans in the East, in the West, in the South. I mean, it don't have to be just the South. They all sound the same. Sticking out their chest, acting like they're going to win the Super Bowl. Everything is well. Well, guess what? It ain't well at all. It ain't well at all. I'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. Tickle your fancy there just a touch. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. But I'll get to your Cowboy fans later. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. I reckon I'll get right back to you in short order. Don't you worry. You stick right there. You don't touch that channel. You don't touch that channel. Okay? Just want to make sure. I got bigger things to get to right now. I got bigger things to get to. And to be quite honest with you, there's nothing funny about what I'm about to talk about because it doesn't involve the Dallas Cowboys. Give them credit for this much. They're playing some damn good football for the most part. And the storyline involving them has been stuff like football or contract negotiations involving football. It hasn't been the kind of nonsense that Vontaze Burfict has subjected so many people to. Vontaze Burfict, it was announced a little over an hour ago, has been suspended by the National Football League for the remainder of this 2019 football season. The final 12 games, and even if the Oakland Raiders make the playoffs, he will be suspended there as well. If you see the highlights right there Indianapolis Colts tight end Jack Doyle catches a pass. Vontaze Burfict launches into him head first, crown of the helmet, doing everything that the NFL has implored its players not to do, spanning several years now. Very, very clear that that's not something you need to do. And Vontaze Burfict did it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no defense for it anymore. I don't have any axe to grind against Vontaze Burfict. I've only met him one time, only spoke to him one time. I had the pleasure of meeting with him. Sound like a really, really smart brother. But guess what? The history doesn't speak intelligence. He's 28 years of age. He's racked up over $4.5 million in career fines and forfeited pay. All right? This fine that he has now incurred is the largest on-field fine in NFL history. There is no way around this. There is no way to justify what we're talking about here. Over the course of his NFL career, he's been penalized 13 different times. From Corona Centennial High School from 2005 to 2009, when he initially was going to go to USC with Matt Barkley, before Matt Barkley came out, called him a dirty player because he was targeting Matt Barkley's knee as a high school player, according to Matt Barkley, who ultimately committed to USC, and Vontaze Burfict went to Arizona State. To him going to Arizona State, shoving a referee, incurring numerous fines, even though he was a freshman defensive player of the year in the Pac-10, it was a problem. Arizona State coach at the time, Dennis Erickson, said, quote, he got carried away. That's how he is, but he's got to control it. I love his intensity. I don't want to slow his intensity down because it's contagious for the rest of the players, for the fans, for everybody involved in the program. But he's got to be smart. And evidently that wasn't good enough. Then he goes to the National Football League with the Cincinnati Bengals. And what are we talking about here? As a rookie, he starts 14 games, led the team in tackles with 127. The Bengals finished number 6 in total defense, but allowed 2.4 more yards per play when Burfict was off the field. Earned a $20 million extension in 2014. But he reverted to his former self, racking up personal fouls and fines that have since come to define his play. And then we know the rest. 13 fines in 7 years. Suspensions over that period of time. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. It's indefensible. I would love to sit here and come to the defense of Vontaze Burfict. I truly would. But literally going after the head of players. What possible sense is that? It doesn't make any sense. You don't know better than that? And then to get suspended yet again after literally launching himself, led by the crown of his helmet, into the head of Jack Doyle, gets ejected from the game, and then departs from the game in Indianapolis, waving, smiling ear to ear, waving at the fans and blowing kisses, knowing a suspension is imminent. Ladies and gentlemen, my personal belief is that his career is over. I'm not saying I wish that for him or anybody else. His career is over. I can't see it any other way. And here's why. The Cincinnati Bengals could not trade him last year. They couldn't give him away for a box of cookies. They ultimately elected to release him in March. When they elected to do that, he was a free agent for one day, and the Oakland Raiders picked him up, led by John Gruden. They pick him up. They brought him on the team. Ladies and gentlemen, he was actually the voice of reason when Antonio Brown got in to Mike Mayock, the GM for the Oakland Raiders. When Antonio Brown got into his face, it was Vontaze Burfict separating him. It was Vontaze Burfict trying to calm him down. But he gets out on the field and he does this. Suspended for the rest of the season. I'd love to sit here and tell you that it's too extreme. But how many warnings do you need? How many warnings is he supposed to receive before he learns the error of his ways? The National Football League, in concert with the Players Association, negotiated all types of rules that would position you to elevate the level of safety that exists in the NFL. That's what they did. That's what they did.